Hi, you guys. I missed you guys so damn much. You know what's so funny? I was wearing corduroys today. Let me see if I can show you. And a woman was like, oh my God, you're wearing corduroys. I love corduroys. And I'm like, doesn't everybody wear corduroys anymore? Am I that old? Like, you guys don't wear corduroys? What has happened? All right. No, enough being silly. All right, I'm going to play you a clip. Let's start this show off with a bang, shall we, as we get into who is the big bad wolf in tonight's Vanderpump Rules episode, because there's a few of them. And I'm going to spill gossip along the way. God, tonight's show really lent itself to behind-the-scenes gossip. So I think I'm going to tell you the story and then drop the gossip as we go, just because it's going to add a lot more fun to the storyline that I tell you about in the recap tonight, the gossip. All right, before we start, let me play you a clip that Tom Schwartz was nice enough to put together for us. Let me play it for you. And yes, there is a stain on my corduroys from my dinner.
You've been waiting for this.
Tom Schwartz doesn't want to be single. Is he single? I think he's with somebody. Who's the girlfriend, you guys? It's not Joe. Who is it? Somebody better send that to me. I'm still waiting. And I put my feelers out now in West Hollywood. Tom Schwartz, you better be careful. If you don't want to get caught, I got people watching you. Oh my God, you guys, I forgot to mention it. So somebody put together the most elaborate video. It was hilarious. It's me from season 2 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills running after Scheana Shay in her shades in the scene from Sir from the other night's episode. And I'm screaming at her, like, did you know the 25,000? And I'm telling her about the glasses running after her in Sir. And then she leaves in the scene with Tom Sandoval, but it's me chasing her out of Sir. And then they cut my little head off and they shove it out the door and I'm screaming at her, did you know 25,000? And Scheana's running away from me. It's hilarious. And she's in the shades. It's so funny. You've got to see it. I don't know where it is. I posted on my Instagram the other day, but I went to look for it and I lost it again. But oh God, if you catch that on TikTok, whoever made that, it was hilarious. I pissed myself. All right, so let's do it. So the beginning of the show is us kind of touching base with each character in their natural environment. Everybody's building up for this big trip to Tahoe. Ariana, Madix, and Katie Maloney are not going. And Katie says that she has zero FOMO, so she doesn't want to go. And Ariana doesn't want to go. Nobody wants to go. Schwartz is excited. He thinks this is going to be the ultimate peace trip and is super excited for everybody to go. And he's shopping for clothes. And then we see Brock Davies and Scheana Shay shopping for a bathing suit for the trip. And Brock is saying to her, like, I'm screaming for help for like 2 years, that I need you to kind of check out of the babydom and check into our relationship, essentially, and trust a nanny to take care of the kid, so that we could have our relationship back. At this point, it's obviously putting strain on the relationship, and he goes into it in the middle of the bikini shop. Scheana's embarrassed. She starts fighting back, and then she's really embarrassed. She like walks out of the store. She's like, I don't want to fight in front of like a store clerk with this deep and personal of a relationship discussion, and Brock doesn't want to let it go, but he does eventually. But what we're sensing is that Brock Davies is looking for Scheana Shay to be more of a wife again versus a mother. And Sheena's struggling with this. And he brings up something to do with Scheana Shay's mom and paranoia, and he doesn't actually get to finish the thought. So we don't know what it is, but like somehow Scheana must have something with her mom that makes her afraid to leave her kid alone. I don't know what that is, but that was the gist. And so it was a really awkward, awful fight in a sense. And it made me go, gee, I wonder if this is going to last. Now, this makes me bring up to you the gossip from this week, which is that Scheana Shay set the record straight as to why Brock Davies, who was originally on the deed of their house together, suddenly did a quitclaim deed to Scheana Shay. And not just any house, a $2.5 million plus house, and she closes on or around Valentine's Day. And Scheana Shay said that Brock Davies put no money in the house and actually bought the house, and so she wasn't going to give him the assets. So as soon as the asset was transferred in their same name, I guess because they're married, he transferred the asset back. So it wasn't for bankruptcy. It wasn't to hide the asset because Brock's in trouble with debtors. It was per Scheana that she had taken on the debt herself, put on all the equity, and it was essentially her house. And he knows that she's very sensitive about this from her first man because it was a disaster for her. And he signed a prenup. So he knows he's going into the relationship and coming out with whatever they decided. But don't worry about Brock Davies and his very exciting Speedos. He's going to become a producer, Scheana Shay announced. He has 2 shows that he's working on in development. Good luck with that, Brock. I hope it goes better than the app did. Now, the girls on tonight's show talk about how the sandwich shop is having issues with permitting and the patio. And this after doing an epic deal with Lay's potato chips to have them almost sponsor special potato chips for their sandwiches and also do tie-ins at BravoCon, which I think they did already. So it's kind of surprising that this happened. The sandwich shop seems to have been stripped down to the bare bones. So why is this place looking like it's being stripped back down? Well, that is because there weren't proper permits in place. They thought there were, and there weren't. So they had to take it all apart again. This is how it reads in The Sun. The front patio at that location was there for years when it was Headley's restaurant, and it was there without proper city permits, a source told the U.S. Sun. After the remodeling, Katie and Ariana learned that permit laws had changed, and they had to take down their sign and break down the entire front patio. And then it turns out there was an issue with the floorings. They had to take the entire inside apart again after putting it all together and interior designing it, because the health department said that the floor is not for open food use. So the entire flooring had to be pulled out. Okay? So they had to redo the furnishings, the flooring, and they, I guess, are up to $300,000 in a build out now, and they're having to reinvest in this small space over and over again over the same thing. So already very difficult start for the girls. And although a topic on tonight's episode is right now on hold. So James Kennedy's dad was close with George Michael, and I guess Hippie somehow was a dog of George Michael's or something. And so he names his dog after Hippie because James Kennedy's godfather, I think, was George Michael. So anyway, that's the gist of that one. And he brings the dog home and he asks to present the dog to Allie. Can we keep him? And Allie's like, I'm open to it, but keep the dog away from my cats in case he nips at the cats because I don't want any problems with my kitties. And Allie's like, damn, I can't get rid of this Rachel girl no matter what I do. And also we find out that Raquel has changed her name to Rachel, her birth name, and Tom Sandoval knew but didn't leak it. And then we also find out that Tom Sandoval texts Rachel before Lake Tahoe trying to see if she would talk to him, and she doesn't. But I think she doesn't because she probably thought he was reaching out to have her film and not because he really missed her. Now, as you guys know, Lisa Vanderpump was all the way through the whole trip in Tahoe trying to get Rachel Leviss there. And I think she kept hoping it was going to happen, and then it didn't. She did bring Hippie or Graham Cracker with the purpose of having that be something that James and Rachel were going to discuss at this location. But then when Rachel doesn't show up, Lisa just hands off the dog to James. And it's pretty anticlimactic, except that Hippie gets to fly on Lisa's private jet. Damn, that dog has a better life than me already. Now, why is everybody going to Lake Tahoe? Well, like the video I showed you earlier, Lisa Vanderpump is launching her restaurant Wolf in Tahoe. And so everybody's there to kind of join in that. In fact, there's a scene where everybody hits the wall and talks about why they're angry while they hit the wall. Tom Schwartz says he's angry because he's single at 40 and he's worried about it. Tom Sandoval is angry at all of his friends for all the names they called him, but not his actions. And Scheana Shay just sort of like hits the wall well because, you know, she's hot. Why not? Gratuitous moment. Go for it, girl.
Get a fresh pond. Get it in fresh pond. Yeah.
That thing's swinging hard.
Group is loving the nature, and here's a sneak peek of something coming up in next week's episode.
Bougie over here, but it's a lot older people as well. They haven't even upgraded it.
Can we just like call like a truce
Welcome,
for like
ladies and
filming and
gentlemen.
everything, and everyone just look at all of this?
To heaven.
This is beautiful, bro. I'm telling you right now, I'm buying a piece of land on that side of the wall.
On the way to the log cabin that Tom Schwartz supposedly rented for the group, which you know production did, Tom Sandoval is crying because Scheana Shay said hi to him at the airport and kind of embraced him as a friend again, and everybody seemed open to reconnecting with him. But simultaneously, while he's crying, he's also saying, these people owe me an apology for all the things they did to me and said about me because they were vindictive, and me falling in love with Rachel and cheating on my girlfriend with her good friend in front of everybody, with everybody, lying to everybody was not my fault. It was not meant to be vindictive. It was out of my control. Oh, gosh. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Jax Taylor has a bar restaurant-y thing in Studio City called Jax Studio. And so he's getting into the restaurant bar game himself. You'll see that on his spinoff show, The Valley, when it finally comes out. Well, there's rumors now that Tom Schwartz wants to partner up with Jax Taylor on a bar. Somebody commented, this is the duo we need. The two of you should open a bar together, meaning Tom Schwartz and Jax Taylor. And Jax responded, blank, already talking about. Stay tuned. And then everybody liked that one. So I guess Schwartz and Jax Taylor may do something together. Then we're back in Los Angeles, and Ariana Madix is walking through her beautiful house and talking to her designer. And she's like, what are we going to do about the furniture? And she says something very interesting on the show. She says, I'm open to selling the house to Sandoval now, whereas I wasn't before, but now I'm open. And so that's kind of clashing with what Tom Sandoval's saying in the press right now. And now he's demanding $92,000 from Ariana Madix before he will buy her out or sell the house. So he's like holding that $92,000 ransom and locking the house up too while she sues him. So on the show, Ariana's talking to the designer, and the designer's pointing out how all the furniture they bought together is super expensive and one of a kind and da-da-da-da-da. And so she's trying to make a list and a cost price so that if Tom wants to keep the furniture, he can buy, you know, it for a fair market value, or they could liquidate it. And so, yeah. Then the designer offers to have the guy who did the Lego piece of art that's so sick hanging in Ariana's house with Tom and her on it. And the artist offered to remove Tom and redo the Lego design so it would just be Ariana alone. And she's like, oh my gosh, kind of extreme. But then I'm thinking the whole time, to be honest with you guys, all I've been thinking about is that painting. Every single episode, I cannot stop thinking about how cool that painting is and how I'm so pissed that he ruined this relationship so that painting no longer like has any sentimental value. It's like upsetting to me. I even talked to myself about it in my head, and I was like, I guess it could be pop culture and all this stuff. So Ariana should definitely have it redone because I love that piece of art. Don't you? All right, so as you can see, not a lot of drama happening, just a lot of people trying to sort of interact in an awkward social environment in Lake Tahoe. We see Lisa Vanderpump do a photo shoot with a wolf, and she talks about the restaurant a little bit. And anyway, it's all for a build-up for this dinner where everybody is coming together, and James Kennedy and Tom Sandoval are going to have a talk. This is now the third attempt at this talk, so we're really hoping it goes well. Tom Sandoval says, let me take you over here in the corner. Let's chat away from the group. And they talk, and James is like, you were my closest friend in the whole cast, basically. And I trusted you, and I saw you as an older brother. And the fact that you paid for my engagement party to Rachel Leviss and all these things, and then you're the one who lies to me. You're the one who hooks up with her and then doesn't tell anybody. And so soon after, I was just ended with her, and he's just like, I can't believe it, you know? And Tom Sandoval, for the first time, realizes he better, you know, make amends because, you know, there's no way otherwise he's going to move forward with James Kennedy. I don't even know if he wanted to apologize, but he did. And he said, I'm sorry. And finally, James is able to say, all right, I'll like start to let you back in again, but it'll never be the same. You blew it. And he said, I was really angry with you because it'll never be the same. And then they did a really beautiful montage of their friendship. And then they kind of half hugged and went back to the table. And that's the end of the episode. Oh, one more thing. James calls him out on all of his shit and making bad decisions and not being man enough to break up with Ariana before he cheated on her. And Tom tries to make excuses up about it. But the excuses fall flat on James. He's like, this, you're just not man enough. You just didn't have the balls, and like, shame on you kind of thing. And he asked him this really poignant question at the end. He said, was it all worth it? And Tom Sandoval said, I don't know. But I know I wasn't on a good path with Ariana Madix and I had to leave. And that's the tea we get from Tom Sandoval on that. But he doesn't know. And so this is how I felt about that.
Here we go. Scum Devil, Sandoval, Narcissist, Sand Awful, Scumbag, Cheater, Liar, Scumbag.
I think you said scumbag already.
Oh, sorry. They use that a lot. Motherfucker, shit, scumbag, worm with a mustache.
Like, subscribe, and hit the notification button, and I'll see you in the Dishing Drama Dana chat, or tomorrow if you watch my Beverly Hills recap. I have a surprise for you guys.